The Seahawks are now 7-7. The Lions are 6-7.
Right behind them.
A win in New York. Hell, forget New York. This is starting to really become in their own hands. They actually have a chance, and I find it to be unbelievably incredible.
They just see the Giants.
Seattle's schedule doesn't get any better.
And the Giants Commanders play each other this week.
One of them's going to lose.
Yep.
And they both still have to play Philly, I believe.
Yeah.
So
the Giants do. Yes.
There is a problem on that schedule for both teams, all these teams. And then who do the Lions play in the last three? It's not really just about this week. It's Carolina, it's Chicago,
on the road.
It's Green Bay. You should be able to win those games. I do think this game against the Jets is going to be a tricky one. I don't think it's as easy as a lot of people think, just because the offense in Detroit, which has been amazing all year, I still find a lot of, I talk about this all the time, solutions. What type of solutions do you offer to slow down this Detroit Lions offense? And I think the Jets pose a lot of solutions, more than most teams have had all season. So it's going to be a tough game. But the Seahawks losing is everything.
Yes.
And now a 9-8 record could get you in, but you need help. But 10-7, it gets you in.
And
Because Seattle's not winning 10 games. And for a fact Washington or New York after this Sunday, likely one of them may win 10. The other might not. This is very interesting.
I really do believe if they could beat the Jets, I think the rest they're going to win out. It's really the Jets are the hardest test for them to end the season. And just check the practice report. Quinnen Williams in practice again. So that's looking good. He might play regardless, but didn't really practice at all this week. And then you have Mike White, who's been limited all week, still dealing with that rib injury. So again, see what the weather looks like. I know it was supposed to be on the better side of things. I didn't check it in the last 2 days, but hey, if the weather's friendly and you got some players that are out, like Quinnen Williams, that's going to help them significantly.
You, as in Detroit, are going to have so much help. Because the Commanders play the Giants, right? And let's say the Commanders win. Okay. So they're 8-5-1. Then they have to play on the road at the Niners. That's a loss. Home to Cleveland. That's not an easy game.
No.
And then home to Dallas. That's a tough game as well. These teams aren't finishing off with, oh man, that's an easy schedule down the stretch. And then you see the Giants down the stretch. They play Washington. And then it's Minnesota. For whatever you think of Minnesota, it's still a tough out.
Yep.
They get the Colts. That's very doable for them. And it's on the road to Philly. In a game where maybe Philly's resting. Maybe Philly is resting some starters. And they're only going to play a half. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So the Giants and Commanders have a very difficult schedule ahead of them. More so the Commanders than the Giants. And then you look at the Seahawks. I still think they have to play the Chiefs.
They do. Yes, they do.
It's not getting easier for them. So 8 losses seems to me like a guarantee for the Seahawks. I think you'll be able to jump the Seahawks 2 weeks from now. Mm-hmm. It's whether or not Washington and New York can fall off. And it seems like Washington is the more likely of the two. So if you were to root for a team this week, you'd want to root for the Giants. Because if the Giants win, it doesn't get any easier for the Commanders. And then they go and play the Niners next week. It does not get any easier. So if you're going to root for a team, I think it's got to be the Giants, no?
No, you're right. Especially considering the fact that, regardless, the Lions have beaten both these teams. They beat the Commanders early in the year. They beat the Giants as well. So, yeah, I would say just like Lions fans were 49ers fans last night, you might need to be Giants fans this weekend. Got to hand them losses now. I think the Lions out of all these teams, it's clear as day. They have the easiest schedule. I mean, I hate we're using that word easy, but if you look at it, Jets, toughest opponent. You go to Carolina, you play Chicago and Green Bay. Chicago and Green Bay, I think, are wins, in my opinion. They're the better team. And then Carolina, I hate using the word trap game. They have a great defense. I still think they could beat Carolina. The Jets are the real one for me with Mike White, because Mike White, clearly he's better than Zach White, levels above him. So Zach Wilson, excuse me. Yeah. So we'll see.
I got you.
Big test this weekend on the road.
This is everything. And what do we want before the season? Huh? All we wanted was mid-December, late December. Could you play a meaningful game where if you won, it would make things interesting, but nobody was putting playoff expectations on you this year. Okay. And they're doing that. And with the Seattle loss and hopefully a Commanders loss, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real. And look, 9-8 is still a problem because of that stupid fucking tie.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big problem. The Giants and the Commanders only need to win 2 more games, and they're in. Under any circumstance, except if you win out. If you win out, you're in. It is a 99% probability, in my opinion. If you win out, you're in.
Yeah.
Having said that, you lose, let's say, one of the next 4 games, and you go 3-1. You are essentially asking the Giants or the Commanders, because one of them is going to win likely on Sunday. You're asking them to finish 1-3, and the other team to finish 2-2, and then you get in. And you're praying both of them don't win 2 more games the rest of the year. But it is possible.
Yeah. It's also possible.
Especially for the Giants. It's very easy for the Giants. And even if the Giants lose, that's the worst case scenario if you're a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Because then the Commanders have 8 wins. And they only need to win 1 of 3. And the Giants have a much friendlier schedule down the stretch. So this is going to get really interesting, man.
Mm-hmm.
This can get really interesting.